Hello there, I'm Jason from Pineapple Bytes, and welcome to another in our series of videos, features of Aloha you should be using, but probably aren't. I've been working with Aloha for a decade now, and in that time, I've picked up a couple tricks I'd like to share. For this video, I've chosen something you may have noticed but didn't see a practical application for, and I hope I can change that. As with our other Spotlight videos, you'll get the most out of this if you are already familiar with Aloha. It helps to have used Aloha as a server entering orders and as a manager programming new items and modifiers. If this isn't you, don't worry about it. Today, you will get a look at what Aloha is capable of and maybe a couple ideas on how the system could be working for tomorrow you. Now that we have all that out of the way, let's dive in. Priority sorting is a simple to implement feature that can pay big benefits when it comes to efficiency and reducing waste. You can see the detailed definition here from Aloha Help, but the general gist is that it allows you to organize items on chits regardless of the order they were entered on the terminal. On a side note, if you aren't using that help function, you are missing out. Most settings you see have an entry in NCR's online help. To access it, highlight the setting you are curious about, click the help button on the right side of the screen. That's going to open a browser window which takes you directly to that feature's entry. I use it frequently, sometimes for clarification on a setting, sometimes just to figure out why something isn't working the way I expected it to. So let's get back to priority sorting. The most common application for our customers is the As App modifier we use on our general modifiers panel. All items in Aloha can be assigned a priority from 1 to 255. The priority we use for our items is 5. Our As App item has a priority of 1. That means that any item our servers modify with As App inherits that priority and is lifted above other items on the chit. So let's have a look at an example. Seat 3 here has an appetizer, while all the other items are unmodified. You can see on the chit, the egg rolls are in the middle. It's easy enough to spot on this table, but on a busy night or on a larger table, apps entered this way could be missed. Compare that to when item priority is enabled. Now the egg rolls have been lifted to the top of the chit where they're easy to see. Now before you get too excited here, there are a couple caveats. First, if your site sends apps separately from the mains, this isn't going to help much because your apps are already on their own chit. Second, pivot seating, where the seats are designated along the left margin, overrides this sorting priority. That said, if you're having a lot of issues with missed apps, consider disabling seat information in the printer settings for a couple days and see if this works for you. Expanding on this As App concept, items with long cook times could also benefit from a higher priority. A higher priority on well done could lift one steak above others on the same order. You could also try grouping items from the same station together to make it easier for your shot caller. All salads, then all pastas, then all sandwiches, and so on. My personal favorite use is on the bar chits. Using different priorities for drink categories can make things easier for your bartenders on a busy night. Grouping blended cocktails separate from well shots, draft from bottled beer, all pitchers grouped together. You see what I'm driving at. This grouping can help bartenders work more efficiently, especially if they're preparing items for multiple chits. Every bartender's finished a blended drink only to discover a second and a third immediately after. That reminds me, has anyone else ever taken a long, unnecessary detour through another server section with a milkshake during a March break lunch rush? Just me? Okay. Okay, so now that we've talked about how the priority sort works, let's look how to set it up. To enable priority sorting, you need to go to your store settings, chit printing, and make sure sort items by priority is enabled. To have modifiers affect the sort method like we do with our as app item, you also need to check use highest modifier priority if greater than item priority. Now in my examples, I've also selected print a separator line between priorities to make it easier to read, but you don't have to turn that on for the feature to work. Once that's done, we need to assign priorities to our items. Don't be fooled by the priority you see on the item in item maintenance. The one you need is in maintenance, menu, and item routing like you see here. You can select each item and change the priority from the drop-down on the far right, or select multiple items using Shift or Control and change several items at a time. Once you have all your items set up, do a refresh and you should be good to go. I hope you found all this informative and thanks for watching to the end. Do you have any other ideas on where to use priority sorting and want to share it with us? You can leave it in the comments of this video or find us on Instagram and Facebook. Our website is pineapplebytes.ca, and if you go there, you can find our mailing address and send us a postcard. Postcards are cool. Finally, If you use another point of sale and think Aloha would be a better fit for you, we service all of Atlantic Canada and can be reached at the number you see on the screen. Thanks for watching. Cheers.